You just received a letter from the IRS. Is it time to run and hide? Of course not. Hi, I'm John Strohmeyer with Strohmeyer Law, where we help our clients leave no unfinished business. Now, today we're going to be talking about what happens when you get something in the mail from the IRS. I know the first thing you want to do is ignore it, possibly panic, possibly run around in circles and hope nothing ever happens. The reality is, you're getting a letter which gives you a chance to deal with the issue. So let's start by thinking about what can you do and what should you do to resolve this issue with the IRS. Now, of course, the first thing to do, don't panic. Many of these letters can be dealt with usually pretty simply. The thing to remember, the IRS is reaching out because they're trying to resolve an issue with you. Not everything that comes in the mail from the IRS is going to be bad news. Sometimes it's information, sometimes it's not. So, not opening this, not dealing with it the moment it comes in won't help you. Item number two, don't ignore it. Yes, you're going to have to open that letter. Yes, you're going to have to read what comes inside. And yes, you're going to have to deal with what's in there. Ignoring it won't help you. In a lot of cases, you have deadlines that you're going to need to meet to respond. Now, what I tell all my clients is ultimately, there are humans at the IRS who are dealing with you, and they want to get this resolved as quickly and as easily as possible for you as well. Think about this. What they're looking for is a low risk of non-compliance. They want to make sure everything's been done correctly so that they can move on and take care of the next taxpayer. So when you look at this, remember that there are humans there, and even if you ignore it, what you're telling them is this doesn't matter, and not I care about this and I want to get this resolved. After you've done that, task number three, contact your own tax professional. This is the great time to contact your own CPA or enrolled agent about how best to respond to this. This may be something where you can get some help from them. This is not the place to come and get a lot of advice. This is not the place to get advice specific to your circumstances from some talking head on the internet. You want to make sure that your advice has been customized for you and your situation. Something you can do to get ready for that meeting, though, is Googling the letter number. If you look in the top right corner of the letter that you got from the IRS, you will see a letter number. In a lot of cases, you'll find, perhaps on like Reddit or somewhere else, an explanation of exactly what that letter does. So if you get a letter, one of the things you can do is just go to Google and see what you may be in store for. IRS letter, and here, just picking at random 483C, understanding your letter, what you're going to see from the IRS, understanding what happened if you got this letter. You'll get some basic information. What is it about? What do you need to do? And if you didn't file for a tax reason. Now, it'll have some basic questions, and it looked like I picked a bit of a spicy one for this. But what you should see is that the IRS has information about this, even going back. And we come here are the letters that we've seen. H&R Block, other places have some information about this. And having that information will help guide you on what needs to be done. It'll help make you a better informed client for your tax advisor. What they'll do is take that information and make sure it's been customized and applies to you, as well as any nuances that may be in there that you didn't already know about. Again, having more information, again, provided directly by the IRS, will help you get through this situation better. Item four, remember, along with not panicking and not ignoring, remember that the IRS may be sending you something that doesn't really change anything. They may not be asking for money. I'll tell you that every year I get at least 2 notices from the IRS that they've changed something on the address for my business returns. Nothing to be done. All I do is open it, see that they've made some minuscule change to how the address is formatted for my business, and then I shred that letter because there's nothing to do. They've told me there's nothing to do. Remember, this is okay. Not everything is going to be a request that you send in more money. Item five, just as we were able to find information online about the letters, that letter should also include specific instructions for you to respond to it. This is what you'll want to do and how you'll need to respond to it. It's all right there in the letter. Item six, make sure that the information recorded in that letter is actually accurate for your situation. Again, the IRS has people who are entering information into computers, things are going on. There's a chance that maybe they made the mistake. If they made the mistake, it's up to you to show them how they made that mistake. Again, look at what you actually filed and compare what is in the letter to what's in the return. It may help you spot something that made the letter unnecessary or help to resolve it quickly. Number 7, many times you won't have to do anything. If a payment is all that's due and you don't have a reason or a basis to object to that payment, sending in the payment will usually resolve everything. If no payment is due, you may be done the moment you've read that letter. Item 8. Well, what happens if you didn't agree with it? Well, if you didn't agree with that, this is again where you get with your tax professional to make sure you know what's happened and how you can best respond to it. Again, the IRS is looking for low risk of noncompliance. They want this resolved and they want it resolved quickly. They want you to get the right result and they want to get the right result for you. If something came up in the system, they're reaching out to make that correction. So if you have a better answer, if you have a reason to explain what happened and why they got it wrong, be ready to provide that to them. Item 9, you're probably not going to have to meet with anybody with the IRS directly. Most of this can be handled through correspondence alone. The thing to remember, though, is you're going to want to keep copies of all of that correspondence, as well as making sure that you have copies that you sent things in. So we typically use either FedEx, UPS, or even certified mail to make sure that we have delivery receipts to show that the IRS received it. Beyond that, one of our secret tricks is to make sure that we put a self-addressed stamped envelope along with a copy of our cover letter and ask the IRS to file mark that cover letter and send it back to us. They will always do this, though obviously you've got to wait for the mail to get it back to you. The reason to do this is it shows where the letter was received and that it was received. Again, being able to show that you have provided something to them in writing will help you later on. Finally, and along with that, don't forget to keep copies of everything. If you've got copies of your tax returns, copies of any correspondence, anything that you've got to back it up, make sure you keep a good handle on that. The IRS wants to get this done correctly, and so making sure you can always back it up because they're not always going to have at their fingertips everything that you've sent in. Being able to provide things promptly to them will make your resolution go much more quickly. Thanks so much for watching. If you've got other questions about this, go ahead and leave a question in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.